Melissa, thank you so much
Hi.
for doing this. Really appreciate it. You don't know this, but this is a long time coming because when you guys were building this building, I would drive down the Palmetto and see this incredible structure coming out of the ground. It doesn't look like anything else in the area. We're going to talk about it a lot, but as soon as I saw it coming out, I was like, I have to meet these people. They have vision.
That's awesome.
They're ahead of the curve. So I really, again, appreciate you doing this.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could start, just tell us who you are and where we are and give us a little background.
Okay, great. I'm Melissa Uribe Gil, Vice President of Costex Corporation. We sell parts for heavy equipment machinery, so anything from diesel engine parts to undercarriage links. So we have over 70,000 SKUs, all specializing in this industry. So very niche market, and we love it. It's all under our brand called CTP. So we really made like a difference in the industry because everything is packaged with our box, with our label. We guarantee on our warranty on all these parts. So the customer knows that everything is coming from one place. So these are products exported to over 150 countries with a dealer in each one that represents us, that they stock our inventory, that they do the marketing. So we're very big on think global but act local. So we give these dealers all the tools that they need to be successful in their markets.
Wow.
So it's really gratifying when you see, small business owner, let's say in Ghana, and go from one person company to maybe 50 employees just because of our product. So that's why we do what we do. It's great to see businesses grow and have that impact on a global level.
Let's start at the beginning. How did
Yeah.
Costex start? Where did it start? Give us the origin story.
So my parents founded it back in 1980. They came to Miami from a city called Barranquilla, Colombia. And they were in search of, better life, the American dream, and they loved Miami. That was a perfect place. It's great for business. It's great to export products. So they started by selling only to their family business back in Colombia, but they were already in the industry. So they just started selling parts to their family. And as the word spread that they're being able to buy these parts at great prices for heavy equipment, more and more customers came through. So they realized at one point during this whole experience that if they want to do something, they have to do it well. They can't try to be everything to everybody. So they decided to specialize in one brand, one OEM, one heavy equipment manufacturer, and do replacement parts for that line and get into manufacturing as well. Because if you can't control the quality, that's where the obstacles come for your warranty, right? So that's what they started doing, and that's how everything came to be.
So your parents are in Colombia. They wanted to make a change.
Yeah.
How old were they when they came here?
They were about 27 and 30, around there. Yeah.
Did they have kids already?
Yes, they left my sister back with my grandma. She was there until they got settled in.
Wow.
So yeah,
And
I wasn't born yet.
Is this something that they, CTP, the brand, is that
Yeah.
something they had already, is it an industry they were already in?
Yes,
Okay.
the family already had a parts business.
Got it.
So it was run by my father's brother. So yeah, it was already familiar. They had a distribution of a certain product line in the industry. So it was a natural.
Yeah. And so,
Natural fit.
and the family hadn't been doing manufacturing yet. It was just distribution.
No, it was just distribution. yeah.
Okay.
So
So what inspired the move into manufacturing once they got here?
So it happened about maybe 15 years after they founded the business in 1995. So they did a joint venture with an Italian producer of gaskets. And that's how they got into manufacturing. And they decided at one time to just, own 100% of the company. And naturally, we just became a manufacturer. So now we produce, that's our number one line, is gaskets and gasket kits, which we assemble in-house, and everything is made in USA. So
Wow.
we sell to countries like China because they love the quality, they love the product.
Wow. And asking a totally broad,
Yeah.
kind of stupid question, but what what parts do these go into?
And the diesel engines. Yeah, there's seals of, let's say, Caterpillar and Komatsu engines.
Only for Caterpillar
Cummins
and...
engines as well.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that particular type of engine,
Yeah.
you make gaskets and
Yeah.
a whole host of other items.
Yes. So we started by now we have a machine shop. So these things just kind of naturally evolve into more manufacturing. So we finish a lot of goods that from the supplier, they're not as fit to the original. So we fix them here, we finish them, and we also have CNC machines and other machinery to finish product.
And where's the majority of your manufacturing done?
So it's all over the world. The majority is since it's our number one line is the gaskets and seals, it's right here in the US. And then the rest is all over the world. You could say Brazil, China, wherever we find a good alliance with a supplier, wherever we feel like we can grow with the supplier, where there's continuous improvement and we can both benefit from the partnership, that's who we look for when we make alliances with these manufacturers. And we always go direct to the manufacturer. We prefer that. We feel like we can control the quality better. We can visit the factory. We can see the product from start to finish and then make sure that the client gets a good product at the end of the day and a good deal and a good price. That's what we offer, quality with value.
So when you go to a new manufacturer, is there a demand in that area already that you're servicing? That's why, and the manufacturer is strategic for that reason. How do you choose, geography and what markets to go into?
So for manufacturing, it depends on economic conditions at the time. But we usually just go by visiting the factory. We're ISO certified, ISO 9001, so that requires us to do a quality inspection, to go and visit the factory and see if it's with our specifications. So we juggled with when the tariffs came, the 25% on all China goods, we juggled with what should we do? Should we transfer all of our suppliers from China to maybe countries like Turkey or Brazil? And then we realized what we need to do is form a free trade zone. So we have more options, because why switch something that's already a good product, already been tested, approved, quality reports? Why switch something that is already working? If it's already working, why break it? So we formed a free trade zone so we can help our customers overseas not have that 25% extra. So they love using that building and using the inventory from that location because it's competitive, it's products that we support and we believe in. So when we go into these relationships with our suppliers, it's not a short-term relationship, it's a long-term. So we're in it together. Whatever happens, we believe in what you're doing, and we don't switch easily. And our customers see that because the quality is very consistent. What they get is the same quality. We don't switch.
To go off on a tangent a little bit, can you talk about free trade zones a little bit and just explain what that is, how it works?
So free trade zones is meant for companies that do primarily export, and they don't need to pay the duties that you would have if you were to sell in domestic markets. So if I'm going to sell to, let's say, Colombia or anywhere, I don't need to pay the customs duties, any customs duty, whether it's 3%, 4%, and in China's case, 25% for a lot of the goods. The customer is saving that amount because it's not going to the domestic market, it's going outside. Obviously, you have to pass certain criteria and have to get certified, and it took us a year to get this license to be a free trade zone. It's not an easy process, but it's definitely worth it, and I recommend it because you always have to be competitive. We're not the only ones in this industry. Our competitors are worldwide. They're everywhere. So if we're in a position that we are having to add 25% markup, it definitely hurts us.
Yeah.
And we can't afford that, so.
Yeah. So real quick, you manufacture in, say, China.
Yeah.
And it's dropped off at the port and then brought to a building here that is free trade zone.
Yeah, and it has to be a bonded truck, not just any truck.
So every link in the supply chain has to be on
bonded
the level.
to transport free trade goods.
Wow, wow.
So
Because you're shipping it out of the country anyway. So
exactly.
Okay.
So it has to be instant. You have to receive it within a certain time period, within like 5 days.
Yeah.
You have to go in, receive it. So not a normal process that you have here. Like you can you can take your time in checking if the quantity is correct with the inventory.
Yeah.
It's not like
So it's that much more important to have a trusted manufacturer on the other side.
Yes, that's exactly what that is. You have to be able to rely in, okay, you ship me 5 parts, there's 5 parts in there.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about trust. And who you do business with should be having the same values that you have as a company. Mm-hmm. And that's what we look for.
How do you decide where and who your distributors are? You know, you brought up the guy in Ghana who now has, 50 employees. You know, how do you set that up? Is the strategy? If you can talk to that a little bit.
So we're very well known worldwide. We travel to trade shows a lot. We were just in the biggest one in Bauma, Germany.
Wow.
That we meet people from all over the world that have seen us, that have seen our product, they like it, and they usually come to us and say, how do I get to be a dealer in my area? I'm from countries that I've never, like Uzbekistan or any country around the world. And then we look at who we have there, and if there's no market presence and we feel like they could invest in the product, because you have to be able to invest in inventory, because if not, it's not going to work. You can't just ship everything by air and expect to have a good client base. You have to be able to invest, stock with our product, and research the market and see how many machines are there, what do they need, what is the fastest moving products. So that study has to be done, and those potential dealers have to have that in mind. So we ask these questions, and we make sure that there's somebody we want representing our product, representing our brand. And if we feel like there's a future there, then we make a dealer agreement, and they have to abide by inventory levels, marketing criteria, and many other standards. It's not just selling a box, right? You got to sell the warranty.
Yeah.
You have to be able to say, okay, I'm selling you a product, but I'm also giving you a warranty if that fails. So we like to associate with dealers who give us the whole package. So this is the mentality. I don't care what country you're from. Like, every customer wants to feel important, and give that experience to the customer, and you're going to get the business. So this is something I drill to all of our dealers, and we have workshops with them. We have seminars about this, and we want them to be successful. If they're not successful, we're not successful. So, because we're not a company that has distribution centers all over the world. We have a large one here. We have one in Dallas, but our plan is not to let's just take over and have this size all over. We want to be able to have partnerships and rely on these dealers that they have inventories, they have warehouse. Let's help them grow, and we can grow together. But if they're 100% in the business, if they have the local experience, the local customers in mind, why do we need to be their competition? So we grow with them, right? That's the mentality.
When did the customer experience awareness come into play? Is it something your family always had, or was it a learning process?
I would say it's a learning process. My background is marketing and international business, so I always feel like, the numbers are great. Yes, it's great but you want to make an impact, and you want to do something different, and you want to sell a product that nobody else has. That's what I always strengthen with my supply chain too. I want to make sure that, okay, if I buy this product from you, you're not going to go off and sell to everyone. Like, I want to be exclusive, or I want to be able to show you that I can handle the distribution for you. So just giving that extra experience. Like, you walk in here to our lobby, we have a gift shop, we have a coffee shop. We have so many ways to make the customer or the visitor feel important, that they're going to keep coming back, right? And that's what we want.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just obvious. It's common sense. You want your customer to feel good when they walk in, and you want them not just to have the whole experience, to be able to go back and rave about the service they received here to other people. So a lot of it is word of mouth, right?
Yeah, it shows that, not many people in manufacturing we'll use that as a giant umbrella.
Yeah.
Think this deeply about,
Yeah.
branding and customer experience, and it shows. I mean, it's clearly working for you guys.
Yeah.
And I think has set you guys apart from the pack, certainly.
Yeah.
So backing out a little bit, how did you get involved in the business? Obviously, you were probably growing up in the warehouse, but is it something that you always you always knew you were going to do? Or did you have to, what was that decision
No, I did. It was definitely not in the plans. I mean, my father always told me, okay, you're going to go study, but you also got to work. And I'm like, but what do you mean? I want the college experience. No. You need to work as well. So that was always drilled into my head, right? You got to study and work at the same time. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll work here. Yeah. To show that I'm working, and then I also study. I'm very restless, so as I was working here, I was like, okay, but I need to be doing something I enjoy, I like. I don't like faxing, and I don't like counting inventory, so what is it that I like? So my father always told me, okay, pick something that nobody's doing, that you don't see anybody in the company doing. And at that time, nobody was doing marketing at all. That was like a foreign concept. I mean, what do you mean you have to pay for an ad and where's the results? It wasn't a concept very familiar to people in this industry, in heavy equipment parts, whereas the concept was like, you get what you pay for. Here's $5, here's a $5, like, get it, it's cheap. That was the mentality back then for aftermarket parts, because that's the business that we're in, replacement parts. Yeah. So we're like, but why can't people get more than what they pay for? And then, they feel good about coming back, about buying, give them something good. So with that comes the packaging, with the logo, with the branding. So I immediately felt drawn to that, because in marketing, you see the impact right away. Yeah. You see, like, okay, I'm going to do a design, I'm going to do a website. You see, like, the effect of it. You see how people enjoy it. Yeah. And that's what I really like. I like when people enjoy what I'm giving them with creative catalogs, with packaging, with presentation. When they open the box, sometimes we have installation instructions that you don't see that in the aftermarket. We tell people how to install the product. Yeah. And we offer maybe even a hat or a promo item in the box. So it's a surprise. When they open the box, they see a keychain or a hat or a fun catalog. So extra stuff. I always throw, let's give people more than what they expect. And that's what I love doing. So
did you get pushback in the beginning?
Yes. But I think, like, at the end, like, if the founder, in this case my father, didn't believe what I was doing, it would have been very difficult, and probably I would have gone elsewhere. But he always saw my vision, right? He always believed in me, and that's how it grew from what it is now. I started as a one-person marketing team, and now we have like 10 people here. But if he never believed in me, it would have never happened. This would have never been possible. So I'm very grateful to have that on my side.
How long did it take before you saw the light?
Let's see. I just, the brand. He always believed, like, about branding. Like, he believed that from the beginning, that you're manufacturing and you should have a brand. But the way that I took it to another level was showing that it's not just a box, but it's also an experience with the salespeople, with the uniforms, with the website, with the whole everything that marketing entails, right? And so he understood that, it was having effects. People started asking more and more about CTP, and he just saw it with the customers. It wasn't easy for them to understand at first. They were like, what's this brand about? When you do a new brand, that's very difficult to get it started. Anybody that has launched a new brand can tell you, like, I mean, their customers are already used to their brands. So how are you going to introduce a new one? They're like, what is it? They're very skeptical about it. They're like, no, don't give me that. Give me the other one that you had before. That was the beginning. So we had to do a lot of seminars, a lot of don't worry what happens with the product. I have the warranty. I have the quality. Whatever happens, it's our responsibility. So we had to really drill that into the customers so they can have confidence. If we would have never said that at the beginning, they would have never purchased. So we were we advertised a lot that whatever happens with this product, we will cover the entire. If this nut that I sell you damages the entire engine, I will cover the engine. So it was at the beginning, it was a huge investment, but we had to do that because we would have never gotten their confidence.
Wow.
So when they started seeing that, you see more and more customers be proud of the brand, be proud of being a dealer, and he saw it. He saw that this could be way bigger than what he had originally envisioned. So
yeah, was it obvious that you needed, the above and beyond warranty and the guarantee from the beginning? Did you go into it and say, oh, we're going to have to do this because they're not going to trust us?
Yeah,
okay.
We didn't know what the customers' reactions were going to be like, and then we quickly figured out if you're not offering more than the others, it's not going to survive. So at the beginning, you have to invest more than what you originally thought, but the payoffs are huge. The payoffs is a goodwill brand that no one can ever replicate, right? Like no one can come here and say, I'm CTP, because you have something that can pass on from generation to generation, and it's unique in the industry. Yeah. And there's no price for that. So it's definitely worth it.
So after you graduated, you're still here. Now you're invested because now your ideas are being heard and implemented, and it's getting an amazing.
That's what's really rewarding about it, that you have an idea and it actually can be implemented. Like this.
It's amazing.
I love that.
Yeah. So at that point where you're like, all right, I can't go anywhere else now.
No, because you're fully in.
Yeah.
Like once you're fully committed to something, it's very difficult to one day say, okay, let me see what else is out there, because you're invested, like you love the brand. It becomes part of your life. Like everything that you do, you're always thinking, how can I improve the customer perception about the brand? And it's a 24-hour, what's next, right? And it's hard to step away from that. It's like, let me do something else now. You're fully committed.
You don't have a choice.
Exactly, it's just part of me. Like.
Yeah. So going to the market now for aftermarkets parts. Yeah. We're sitting here early November of 2022. There's lots of talk of recession on the horizon. What are you seeing right now for trends? What's happening in your business? Yeah. So we used to have a lot of issues with raw material, container prices, and that's going down, and that's getting better every day. So we're able to offer more products in stock to our customers, more inventory, which is what they want, more variety, more availability, and things are stabilizing better. So I could tell you, a year ago, I didn't know what the future was going to be, because we were all struggling to get merchandise, to get products in. There was huge quarantines in China and supply chain that they didn't have the raw material. So this is where I say the trust comes in with your supplier. Because the minute that they did get the raw material, they did get everything, we were the first ones that they shipped, because there is that mutual collaboration. So that's where partnership comes in. But right now we're very happy. We're very happy with the trends that we're seeing. Our customers continue to invest in us, continue to believe in us. The future definitely in our industry is going towards electrical, zero emissions machines, but we don't know how long that's going to take, that transition, but that means less parts, right? So we have to really invest in electrical engineers and ways to fit into that new market that's coming. So sooner rather than later. Something you're already front running. We have to
think about that because, it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you seeing anything in the tea leaves as far as recession goes? Is there any cut in demand or reduction in demand?
Well, the thing with our industry is we thrive in recessions, right? Because our product is 70%, the majority less than if you were to go to the original dealer.
Wow.
So our prices are very competitive. And a lot of countries or a lot of companies that normally would go to, to the original manufacturer in recessions, they're like, wait, hold on, my budget is decreasing. I need to find alternatives. I need to find solutions. And that is where we come in, right? So they start looking at companies like us, where they naturally wouldn't go to companies like us because they're worried about the quality. They're worried about the whole host of things.
Yeah.
So, but they don't have a choice in recessions. They need to save money. They need to keep their engines running. They need to keep their equipment moving.
Yeah.
And
you allow their project to keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We allow the world to keep moving, no matter if they don't have the budget for it.
Yeah.
We have solutions for any budget. So.
Yeah. Speaking of the building and the infrastructure that you guys have built out, how many manufacturers are you working with right now?
In our supply chain, could be 500 if I'm not mistaken. Around in the hundreds. Yeah.
And how about distributors?
Distributors, we have about 4,000 in our customer base, and maybe I would say like 100 dealers that really invest, support, and push the CTV brand all the way. But we have like 4,000 different customers all over the world.
So, and then what part does this building here in Miami? What part does it play in your infrastructure?
Yeah, Miami is a huge. For exporting, it's huge.
Yeah.
It offers it offers everything you need to be able to sell all over the world. The Port of Miami is huge. I mean, it's so convenient to get your product out, and we ship to countries all over. So it's very important for us to be in this location in Miami as a base. And then for the U.S. market, we have our Dallas distribution center, which definitely it's the middle. It's in the center of the U.S. and it helps a lot for the West Coast and Central to be able to get our products in a timely manner. So
do the majority of the shipments come into Miami, then go to Dallas, then
we
to
have
West
weekly
Coast?
Truckloads to Dallas with the inventory.
Do you bring anything from Port of Long Beach, from that direction?
From that direction as well. And sometimes we do direct shipments to Dallas on products.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a combination. So we have weekly truckload, but the main products are coming to Miami.
And how many products do you do out of this building specifically?
So SKUs, 70,000 SKUs in a day. I have to get that number.
Yeah, no worries.
So it just rotates, right? So sometimes you have machines that become discontinued and nobody is using them, and then all of a sudden you see a downward trend in demand, and then we know that that's not gonna be used anymore, but you always have to continue developing the new machines and what's out there. So we have an engineering team that is always looking out for new product development. And we're also working with our new patent team that we want to be innovators. We don't want to be copy and paste generic items. So it's a new division that we're creating that we are working on patents to make products actually better for the user.
Wow.
So if you can do it, why not, right? If you want to make something better.
So ideally you're going to give the customer a product that is better than what they would get from the
That's
original.
the idea. If you have the opportunity, if you see a flaw in something that the original manufacturer is doing and you have an opportunity to correct it, make a patent out of it, why not? So you'll become an innovator rather than copy and paste, I hear that term a lot in our industry. Oh, you guys are good, copy and paste. I'm like, no, we don't want to be that.
Yeah.
We want to offer something different. So.
Well, it goes with the branding too.
Yeah.
As far as this building, give us the story of how this came to be, where you were before, why you decided to build the, one of the most beautiful buildings in Miami.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I'm an industrial nerd, so obviously I'm biased, but if you could. It
means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so if you could just kind of tell the story of how this came to be.
So we started when we have our previous building was right in front of the Palmetto, 6100 Northwest 77 Court, and it was one building, and then it was 50,000 square feet. So when we reached that capacity, we bought the building behind it. When we reached that capacity, we bought the building at the end of the quarter. When we reached that one, we bought another sector a couple blocks away. It was about 3 buildings back to back. So at one point, your logistics kind of is not very efficient because you need transportation to go back and forth between buildings. Departments are spread out; they're not in one area. The communication kind of gets affected. So efficiency, communication, and we knew we had to consolidate and put everything together under one roof.
Yeah.
So back in 2006, we purchased this land, which is about 17 acres from farm stores. And it was basically, they had an ice cream manufacturing plant where we're here right now, and then they have their headquarters, which is still there. The building is still there. So what we did is we knocked down the ice cream plant, and we had plans to build. But as you know, there was a huge recession that affected all of us. So those plans gone on hold for about, let's say, 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, this has been a dream since 2006.
Very patient.
Very patient, because it was just all about timing. There wasn't the right time, because no banks were going to lend you at that time. It was very difficult for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens to be that we built this in a record 18 months during COVID. We never stopped, not even one day, which is miraculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't think, we thought there was going to be many challenges to build a building of this size during a pandemic. And thankfully somebody was looking out for us, but we were able to finish it in record time.
Wow.
And we're enjoying it. Everything's new.
Yeah.
So much easier to communicate. You want to talk to any department, just walk over.
Yeah.
Meetings are happening every day.
Yeah.
And it's just great. It's just great for the team. It's great for the culture.
Talk about, there's solar on the roof.
Yes.
And it's a 2-story warehouse.
Yes.
Can you talk to...
And 3-story office building. So.
Wow.
So it's the height of the ceiling.
What went into making those design decisions and choices?
So everything was started from scratch. So this is why it was so great to do this, because you literally planned every space how you wanted to, how you envisioned it. So it was easy to do. Like any challenges that we were having when we were separated, we made it better through making these building plans from scratch. We knew that there was going to be huge use of energy, so we had to do something about that. It was going to be very expensive to run a building of this size. And we researched about solar, and we didn't know we were going to be the second biggest one in South Florida, but we're like, you know what? Let's do it. That's great. That's an added benefit.
Yeah.
You're also the second biggest. You're starting a movement.
Yeah.
So it naturally happened.
Are you guys net zero for?
Yeah, I mean, when it's cloudy, so there's sometimes, there's off and on when it's a cloudy weather, or when we use too much electricity because we don't have the battery backup that we store when it's really sunny.
Yeah.
But normally we're using 100%.
That's amazing.
Which we want to encourage other businesses to be doing that too, because South Florida is full of potential for solar energy. Everyone should be on this trend.
So I mean, why do you think more business owners aren't? Because
I don't think they know of all the benefits. They don't know about the tax benefits. There's huge rebates. The government wants you to do this, So and they don't know about how much you can save every month by doing that. So I think it's just an education process that more business need to know the benefits.
Do you have an idea of what your monthly bill would be if you were not on solar?
I don't. Somebody asked me that, and we were like, we have no idea. We don't want to even know. But we know that it would have been huge, yeah.
And how, for context, how big is this building? How many square feet?
It's about 475,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many people work here?
About right now 475.
475 people.
Yeah,
Do you do
give or
manufacturing here or just distribution?
So we do assembly
Okay.
here, and then we have our manufacturing plant in another location.
Got it.
So we're still using the buildings that we had
Yeah.
before because we're investing in bigger products. So now we're selling buckets for heavy equipment, mining products, and those are huge products.
Yeah.
So we still need those warehouses to store inventory. So we thought we were gonna sell them or rent them, or like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, yeah.
We need them to grow our business.
So speaking of needing space, the two-story
Yeah.
warehouse, I think it's right now, it's the only one in Miami-Dade County. What went into that decision? Was it just you needed the space?
Which
And
one? Which?
You guys have this building is a two-story warehouse?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
what went into making that decision to make it two stories as opposed to like a conventional, 30 foot?
It's to use your space to maximum capacity, right?
Yeah.
So we found out about the spiral conveyors, which just takes a minimum amount of square footage, and you can transfer between the two floors without using too much space. So it just made sense to use, the land and the square footage to the maximum.
There's just necessity.
Yeah.
Have that-
I mean, it's space that's going to go to waste if you don't
Right.
divide it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we put the lighter items on the second floor and the heavier items on the first floor.
Wow.
So
Well, I think it's a trend that we're going to continue seeing. There's a building right now that Prologis is building in Palmer Lake, and it's going to be the second two-story warehouse.
Oh, yeah?
So you guys are trendsetters.
wait, are we I didn't know.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We're the first?
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to add that too. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's been talked about for a long time, especially
Uh-huh.
in a market like South Florida, because there's just no land available
Yeah.
for industrial development. So all the developers are thinking about it, but right now it doesn't quite pencil out
Yeah.
yet. But I think now that rents are where they are,
Yeah.
you're going to start seeing more of it. And
Yeah.
it's also, there isn't a lot of, and maybe this is something you can speak to, there's just not a lot of architects who have done a project like this or like
Yeah.
a two-story warehouse. How did you find the group to work on it?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it was just an idea that my father had, and he went through several architects
Yeah.
before he found. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of architects, they just wanted, they want to do the box style and the easy way. And we're like, no, we want to do something special. We want to do the curved wall. That was very difficult to get somebody to get that concept, the curved. You see how it's curved all the way. There's not a lot of buildings like that in Miami.
Yeah.
That whole front was first outsourced to an architect in Colombia because he was really the one who said, here it is. He showed us the facade, and it was beautiful. So we submitted that one to an architect here. But there wasn't too many here in Miami that helps you think outside of the box, really.
Yeah.
Not to say architect, but I'm just saying it's a concept that wasn't very common.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do your cookie cutter box industrial warehouse. We wanted to be something better. So
I don't think that the common cookie cutter warehouse box would fit with the brand.
with the
either,
brand either, yeah, it doesn't fit. It's like, no.
So the marketing is all throughout.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So one other thing that we were talking about before that this building has is an art gallery. So if you could speak a little bit to what you guys host there, and why does a aftermarket's Caterpillar part warehouse have an art gallery?
Yes. So my mother is a very talented artist. It's always been her dream to have an art gallery and to be able to instruct other people about art. So we took what used to be the farm store's headquarters, and we renovated it inside and made it really an inviting space to invite international artists from all over the world to go and exhibit there are, once a month we have events with different artists.
Wow.
So it rotates, and people like, community leaders, people in the industry, they come and they have a great time. They talk over art, and really it really heightens the cultural scene here in Miami.
Yeah.
I invite everybody to go. It's called MIFA, Miami International Fine Arts. It's a great center for anyone who's interested in culture and art, and maybe even want to learn how to draw from really classical art, like the way that it's really meant to be done, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it speaks to the depth that you guys approach everything with, from the design of the building, not just the structural, but also the design of it, how it looks, the branding that you guys have, the fact that you're bringing in a cultural center to, an industrial zone.
Yeah.
It just speaks to, the creativity that you and the team have. It's really great to see.
Yeah, it's a way for us to give back to the community that's given us so much, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Melissa, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a great interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and all other social media. Again, thank you so much for having us. And Melissa, thank you.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Anytime.